Hey everybody! In this video I'm going to show you how to paint up the Sea Serpent for the game Blood Rage by Cool Mini or Not. First thing I'm doing is taking a base of Kantor Blue. Now I've got this over here in my wet palette and it's pretty thin, and I'm going to get two different bases of this on, two different coats. You can see I'm not being super careful. I'm keeping it off of some of these waves down here, but I'm just laying this in nice and thin. This is one coat of the Kantor Blue. Everything is dry, and that's when I'm going to go ahead and start with a pretty thick brush, laying in another thin layer. This will be my second layer. This is both layers nice and dry of that Kantor Blue. I'm going in now with the underside. I've got Fenrisian Grey here, pulling it into my palette, some water, and I'm just laying this in. This is going to be that lighter underside, which you see in a lot of large sea creatures. That Fenrisian Grey is nice and dry. That's one coat. And a second coat will be going in as well. Two layers of Fenrisian Grey, and I can go ahead and start to put on Sotek Green. I'm thinning my paints down, and I'm being careful of not getting too close too far away from the middle of the piece. So I'll leave some of that edge nice and dark. This is a thin Sotek Green, and I'm pulling it along, creating the outline of what I want. I'm not too worried about it staying nice and perfect with a hard line. It's okay if things squiggle around a little bit. It's going to give it a mottled look that I really like, and you see that in a lot of fish and other large sea creatures. I'm just pulling this up along the back. And that is one layer of the Sotek Green, nice and dry. I stayed away from the edge. And I'm doing that so it transitions from the dark to the lighter. Now this is a second coat of Sotek Green, nice and dry. I'm going in with the edges now, and I'm using Lothern Blue. His whiskers along the top of the frills on the back. Kind of picking up the major curved parts. I'll do that on the back as well. A little bit on the brush over into the wet palette. And this is nice and thin, like most of the stuff I'll be working on with this piece. I'm really looking to build up the layers. So yeah, once again, I'm just picking up sort of the main bits that are a little higher. I've done all of those once, and now I'm going to go back and touch them up again, pull that line out a little bit longer, and letting everything dry. So this is all of the Lothern Blue. It's dried. The parts that are a little harder of a line, they have two layers of that thin Lothern. And I drew a line up the back there. Now, I've gone ahead and put Troll Slayer Orange in there for the eye. And now I'm going to work on the gums. And for those gums, I'm using Screamer Pink. So this is layering in that Screamer Pink. And then we're going to do some very gentle highlights for the gums where the teeth meet with Pink Horror. I'm taking my time and going slow. That Screamer Pink is just one layer. I didn't really thin it down very much. Now I'm taking that Pink Horror, and I'm using it right out of the pot. You could thin it down if you like to. I'm using an ultrafine brush. Now I've got the teeth That's a Screaming Skull base, and then highlighting those teeth with just a white base. So now I'm using my Carroburg Crimson, and that's going in just to give some depth to the gums, as well as a Drakenshade to give a depth on the body itself. And it's a little splotchy, we'll clean that up. Now we're coming back with that Fenrisian Grey and doing another nice thin layer. We don't want to get rid of all of the depth we created with the Drakenshade, but we do want to clean it up a little bit so it's not as splotchy, using light, longer brush strokes. And here you can see what that looks like. Now I'm trying to protect the tendrils there when I go in, and I'm going to try to make some little blotchy highlights with a really stiff bristled brush, excuse me. And all I do is flick this onto its back here. And it's going to make a really nice pattern. So I've got a pretty fine brush here, and I'm going in, and I just want to pick up with a mix of Fenrisian Grey and white some highlights. This is just to make these tendrils pop, a nice spot where the sunlight can glisten off the raised edge. So you can see where those edge highlights are now. The very last thing that I need is taking that white, adding just a little bit of the Fenris Grey, and again, I'm just picking up some places where I can make the main body pop a little bit more. We'll have this nice transition from the center of the body out to the fins. And there you have it. That is the Sea Serpent from Blood Rage. Here he is, all nice and finished. And in a future video, we'll be checking out how to do the water for the base. A big thanks to all of our patrons, and especially to Eleni. You've been with us for over a year, and that is awesome. If you want to check out our Patreon page, you can find a tier that's right for you. Thanks everybody for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and until next time, I'm Ryan, and this is Roll for Initiative. Bye!